I got a Patreon request from Robert, who wanted me to review the made-for-television Disney movie Skyrunners. This was a film produced specifically for the Disney XD network, which was intended to be aimed at a slightly older audience than the main Disney Channel. Although looking at its programming, it does not seem like the demographics are that different, as there remains a mix of animated family shows and sitcoms. Skyrunners seems to have been intended as the first of what could have potentially been many Disney XD original movies. However, they only made 2 more after this. Skyrunners has a storyline that is not too far removed from what a lot of Disney Channel original movies like to do. It's a wish-fulfillment plot of a couple brothers who find a UFO, and then some magical things happen all of a sudden that they then have to deal with. There are also school and parent troubles. Despite those elements, Skyrunners does have a different feel than the typical DCOM. The film seems to have been pitched with a slightly older demographic in mind, with it even having a PG rating. For one, the older brother is often talking about the girl he likes in ways that maybe would not fly in a DCOM. There's also a moment when an evil alien monster is defeated and they actually show his green blood flying everywhere. What particularly stuck out about me was the cinematography. While it's still very much a made-for-television production, the look of Skyrunners has a film-like grainy aesthetic, and it's clear someone at Disney XD or the filmmakers themselves did want to differentiate it from the Disney Channel original movies. Regarding the story itself, there are a number of plot threads that it tries to develop, and it does an okay job, although it also has a bit of trouble balancing some of them. We have the 2 brothers dealing with their individual school troubles, something magical that happens to the younger one, the fear of their mother finding out, and this government agent pursuing them over this UFO. The younger brother Tyler, for instance, not only has a growth spurt, but can also read minds and see into the future. But it does not explore this as much as it could. Although I will say I actually thought Tyler was played by a different actor after he becomes a little older and taller. But nope, it's the same actor who impressively is made to look taller than in his initial scenes, and his voice sounds a little deeper. The film also openly talks about puberty, which is again an example of this tackling subjects in a different way than most DCOMs. The sibling dynamic is interesting, with Nick making the usual mocking remarks, but also being helpful when needed. I thought Kelly Blatz, the actor playing him, gave the best performance in the movie. I got almost a Glenn Powell vibe from him at times. There's a lot of focus on Nick's relationship with the girl he likes, which I did not find particularly interesting. There are a few points where it's mentioned that he's not doing well in science class, but something only minorly touched upon before it eventually and expectedly comes back in the ending. I also want to mention the school principal, who is directed to act as over the top as possible. The rest of the film is mostly grounded in the acting department, so it's surprising he's turned into a wacky antagonist. There's a particularly odd scene where the school bully gets in trouble with the principal because he happens to get hit with his dodgeball. Well, maybe you should not be walking in the middle of a gym class while a dodgeball game is going on. That one's on you. As for said bully, he is written like almost every school bully you've seen in a movie. I mentioned the government agent before, who they depict as stoically as possible, although at a certain point I realized he would turn out to be an alien in disguise, and I was right. I think where the movie really picked up was in the 3rd act. There's creativity in the evil alien lair that Tyler gets trapped in as he uses his smarts to try and get out. There are some legitimate stakes there. It's the kind of set piece I could imagine seeing in an 80s science fiction film, and the production team really made the most with whatever budget they were given by Disney. Skyrunners was primarily shot in New Zealand, but it was not just used as a film location. The alien creature was designed and built by the folks at Weta Workshop, the studio responsible for the Lord of the Rings effects. It's an impressive looking creature, and another example of the film trying to be a bit more mature than the usual made-for-television Disney movie. This also appeared to be a Canadian production. Not only is a significant number of the cast Canadian, but there's even a shot when Tyler is flying around in the UFO and he goes past Toronto City Hall, which is such an unmistakable design. Like I said, the hope was probably to make several movies for Disney XD, but they only made a few more. Skyrunners even ends with a sequel hook, so the filmmakers seemed confident they would get to continue the story. It's a shame this channel did not get to make more movies after this, as it would have been interesting to see what other projects they might have done. As for Skyrunners, it was a creative idea, even though not everything gelled, and I did not mind watching it. If you've seen it, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and thank you for the request, Robert.